Assalamu alaikum. Hey guys, I'm back and welcome all of you to my new video tutorial. This is the second video tutorial on PostGIS and Postgres, basically pgAdmin interface. So in this video tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to add a geometry column into your desired tables. So here I have chosen a schema, created a schema called New York City, NYC, and under New York City I have created three tables, namely lines, polygons, and points. So if I just go to the properties of this table, it says that GID names, data type integer, and character varying data type for name. So I can add a geometry column manually into this table, but that's a big process and many things I have to adapt. So avoiding those things, I will just write some codes and to add a geometry column so that I can visualize this data into QGIS or any source of like ArcGIS, something else, through PostGIS connection. So without further delay, let's just jump into our tutorial. So I will just divide my tutorial into two parts. First parts, I'm gonna show you how to add geometry column, one geometry column into each tables, and then into that empty geometry column I will add some points, polygons, and line feature based on New York cities. So first of all, I need to go to the query editor here, query tools, and I will just start writing some codes to add a geometry column into first point table. So first I have to just ensure that my path, schema path, has been set up into New York City, not public. So to do so, I will just copy a code and paste here, and here I will just change New York cities. This is my schema. Instead of storing my data into public, I will just tell pgAdmin for that, pgAdmin just store the output or connect the input with the code to this schema called like New York cities. So once I hit the run button, it says the query returned successfully in 30 milliseconds. It means that my PostGIS, pgAdmin has not been connected with public schema. Rather, it's been transformed to New York City schema, under which I have all the data. So once I am done with that, let's just start coding to add a new geometry column. First, I will select, and I'm gonna use a function called add geometry column, which is prominently used in PostGIS extender. So PostGIS is a very cool data extender associated with Postgres or like pgAdmin 4. So I'm gonna add that function called add geometry column. So follow the spelling and the kind of convention, uppercase and lowercase, as it is written here. Otherwise it can cause issues sometimes. So now under this function I'm gonna insert some parameters. So first parameters, I am gonna directed to the schema name. So here schema name is NYC, and it should be put under inverted comma. Now followed by the table associated with this schema, and under which we are gonna add a column called geom. So the table name should be here like PGIS. This one, it designates to the point data or point feature, and then we have to specify the name of the column that we are gonna add. So the column of the geometry, we're gonna name it like geom in short. So geom. Then lastly we have to insert some more parameters, including the SRID. What is SRID? SRID is something like, it stands for Spatial Reference ID. So Spatial Reference ID, identifies, or it just determines the coordinate system for a particular region. So for different regions have different SRID. So you can just get it like by searching SRID for that particular area you are interested. I am now interested to use the SRID of New York City, which I know already. So that should be like 4269. 4269, the SRID of New York City. Followed by it, I have to mention or determine the type of geometry I'm gonna stored under this table. So table says that it's a point table, so I'm gonna add a point geometry data. So just type it point, and lastly I have to tell them what would be the dimension of the coordinate. Here I'm gonna use two-dimensional coordinate, which is x and y. X is designated as longitude, and y is designated as or assigned as latitude. So overall it adds up to, that's why I have to use 2 here. Now I'm done with the code almost. I have just put the ending semicolon as the convention, and let me just revise my code whether I did any blunder. It says that I'm good to go. New York City points, this is the schema, table name, column name, and the SRID for New York City, and the data type geometry is point, and the dimension of the coordinate is 2. So if I run the code, hit the run button, let's see. It says that syntax error at or near point. Okay, so it looks fine for me. Okay, I got it. One syntax error is detected here probably. Let's just close the inverted comma here. Okay, so now it looks all fine, and it's time to hit the run button and look. Let's see what happens. Look, I got the result by hitting the run button, and it says that geometry column is our ID 4269 data type point has been added to this table. So to check it out, let's just view it. Look, there was no geometry column before running this code, but once I run that code, this geometry column, in short, the column name is geom, has been successfully added. In my later part of this tutorial, I will show you how to add some geometric data into this column. Okay, so now my second task in first part is to add another 2 geometry column into lines and polygon table. So I'm gonna add a geometric column into line table right now. So to do so, the procedure is same, but I will just copy the previous code here and paste here, but I have to edit something here because the dimension of the data should be like 2, but I have to change the data type here. Here I'm gonna use line string instead of point. So let's line string. Okay, so here I have to change the table name, that should be lines. So except that I will keep the same code for adding another geometry column into lines. I have just changed the data type here, line string, and the table name lines instead of points and instead of point line string. Okay, so it looks fine. If I hit the run button, yes, successfully run. Total query runtime for is 64 seconds. So to check it out once again, I have to go to view and click the all data. Yeah, look, here is another geometry column has been added to line tables. Same procedure goes to polygons, but here I have to change the data type also. Instead of line string, I will put polygons and I will change the table name. So just go to the query history and here copy this one, come back to query, like tools, query tools, and paste the code here. So let me first change the table name. Table name should be this one, polis, and geometry data type should be like polygon here. Bear in mind, all I have written in uppercase when it comes to determine the geometric data type, polygon. Okay, so data type is polygon and the table name is polis. Except these two changes I have kept and put the intact script that I have used for my earlier two table creation, a column creation. So if I hit the run button, once again the Polygon geometric column has been added to Poly's table. As usual, let's just check it out whether it is really added or not. Yes, there is a column called geom, data type geometry has been added here. So now you should understand how to add a geometric column into your table. And look at this. This geometric column, name and GID, all are empty, but I have to insert the data and corresponding geometry, so that I will import that data, whether it is lines, whether it's line, polygons or points, into QGIS, so that we can create map based on this data. That's the advantage, and that's the ultimate goal to reach the destination. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to add some points feature, line features and polygon feature into these three tables, particularly into the column called geom or geometry. So to do so, first I need to call upon a function called insert into. So let's start writing that function insert into, and under it I have to declare two variables. The name of the column, where I'm gonna insert the associated value, the name of the points and the geometry of that point. So name of the point, that's why I'm gonna use the column name, and geom, which is the short form of geometry. Okay. In second line code, I have to use another function called values. Values function will determine what are the values assigned to these corresponding variables. Values to name and values to geom. For that, let's first assign the values for name. Here, values for name is Statue of Liberty. Whatever name or whatever spelling you wanna do, you can just follow that. So for me, Statue of Liberty. In this way I just wrote, and followed by another function that I have to use is the state, stgeom from text. Let me just first write the function, then I will explain. Geom from text. This is a very, very important function in terms of using PostGIS to convert a text point, text base like coordinate point into geometry. So this is called ST. It's something like spatial type, and geom for geometry from text. So it basically says that this is a function which converts text type data into geometry type data, and that is associated with a spatial type of data. So under this function, we are gonna insert the data type and associated coordinate. So here data type is point, and as it's a text, I mean a string value, so we need to enclose them within the inverted comma. So now I'm gonna copy and paste the longitude and latitude value of Statue of Liberty. This is that Statue of Liberty. Okay. The second thing that I have to mention is the SRID. SRID, which I have already explained, that the spatial reference ID for New York City. So all the points, all the polygons, all the lines featured should be directed or should be referred to a specific spatial reference ID, which is 4269. 4269 that I have already mentioned while creating a geometry column in my first part of video. So here it looks fine that we probably ended up writing our code perfectly. Despite that, let's just review it, whether we have made anywhere any sorts of wrong statement. Insert into name and geom, which are the column name, and Statue of Liberty, the value associated with the name, and geometry value associated like point type data, the longitude and the latitude of Statue of Liberty location in New York City. And then you have to mention the corresponding SRID, which is 4269 in terms of New York City. Okay, I'm missing a comma. I noticed that. Okay, so if it looks fine, let's go ahead and hit the run button. Syntax error at near or here. Oh, sorry. PTS. I forgot to mention the table name. PDS, insert into PDS does not exist. Okay, so if I refer like nyc.pds, that should be work. Yes, now look, it work. The kind of error we got here is that the table called point was not getting the connection with the schema we created. So when I just mention the schema name, it automatically, get that result. So if I just go to the value and all rows, look, here is the geometry associated with Statue of Liberty, which is situated in New York City. It's now successfully added to my table called PDS. So here is the name and geometry. Before running this code, geometry, geom and name column were empty. There were no values. This row was not present, basically. But when I run the code, one row has been added, and under name, the Statue of Liberty name, and geom column included the associated geometry of Statue of Liberty location. Now you can connect this data into QGIS and you can visualize the Statue of Liberty location. That's the advantage when you add the geometry for a location. Now I'm gonna add some one more points in this table, which is like, I'm gonna copy this code and once again query tool. Okay, this time I will change two things. One is the name of the location and associated longitude and latitude. This time I'm intending to add the World Trade Center. So let's type here World Trade Center. Okay, and the longitude and latitude value of World Trade Center, I'm gonna copy this one, which I have already collected. You can just get it from a Google search. It's not that difficult. Just paste here. Okay, so World Trade Center, ST, and everything would be same except these two parameters. So if I hit the run button, look, query returned successfully in 46 seconds. If I just go and check this, whether World Trade Center has been added, yes, look, World Trade Center followed by Statue of Liberty has been added, and also its geometry is there. So this is really crazy thing that you can do with PostGIS or pgAdmin. Now I'm going to show you how to add some line feature into this table. So for that, let me just come back to query tools, and here I'm intending to add, first of all, Brooklyn Bridge, which is situated somewhere in New York City, and another location called Lincoln Tunnel. Both are very famous and are situated in New York City. So the procedure is somewhat same, but one thing I have to change is that the type of data, and I have to add some more a coordinate system to make it a line feature. So I'm not gonna write it to save the time. Let's just copy the previous code and come back here. Okay, so insert into New York points. Instead of points, I'm just type it lines, and values. First of all, I will add Brooklyn Bridge, which is spelled like Brooklyn Bridge, and here instead of point I need to type line string string, string. Okay, so here line string, and the associated here is the coordinate. So look, here I have added 4 coordinate instead of 2 coordinates which I used in my previous point table. So this is the longitude, first longitude, and the first longitude is separated by a space, and this is the latitude, this is the second, and latitude and longitude has been separated using a comma. Then the second longitude separated using a space, and then this is the last second latitude. So same thing, we have to use this SRID as we used in terms of creating point. So here you go. Now, like line, I have changed the table name Brooklyn Bridge, which is associated with this name, and this is the same function I have used in point section. special type geometry from text. Okay, so it looks good. If I hit the run button, look, query returns successfully in 40 seconds. So let's go and check whether Brooklyn Bridge, a line feature, has been added or not into our line table. So look, here is the Brooklyn Bridge, and associated geometry in text form has been successfully added in geom column. So the same way, I'm gonna add a Lincoln Tunnel, another line feature. For that, let's just copy this previous query tool. What is this? And paste here. Here I will just change the name Lincoln Lincoln Tunnel, and that should be a line string. And let me copy and paste the associated geometry. Don't be tensed about the coordinate system like latitude and longitude. You will easily get it by a search in Google. So I'm just copying this, which I have already collected, and preserve it. I will just transfer it. Okay, so it looks fine. This is the longitude, latitude first pair, longitude and latitude the second pair, and this is the same 4269 is our ID. Name, lines, Lincoln Tunnel, looks fine. Let's go ahead and hit the run button. Okay, query returned successfully. Let's go and check view all rows. Here look, Lincoln Tunnel name associated geometry has been added into table called lines. Okay, now I'm gonna show you how to add a polygon into your Polygon table. So for that purpose, I'm gonna use Central Park coordinates. Central Park is situated somewhere in Manhattan, New York. So the geometry will be added to these polygons. For that, I have already collected the coordinate system, a pair of coordinate system that I need to use for this purpose. Bear in mind that while the same procedure will be used to add polygons, the only two difference, which is we need to use an additional pair of parentheses, and the pair, the first pair should be the same as the last pair of the coordinate system. What do I mean that? Let me show you bit by bit. First of all, let me just copy and paste the previous code. Okay, here I have to type the table name, which is polys in this case, and the value corresponds to name is Central Park. Okay, Central Park. Okay, here line string, instead of line string, let me type Polygon, and here the coordinate system, which I'm gonna copy and paste first. Okay, so here I need to use some more pairs of coordinate system, more than that of in line and points, because when you want to create a polygon, polygon needs more coordinates to be enclosed, and the first pair of coordinate should be the same as the last one. Look, the first pair of the coordinate minus 73.97, longitude and latitude 40.76, ends up with 56. The same coordinate pair I had to use for the last one, minus 73. So this is a very, very conventional rule to create a polygon. Yeah, you know that probably. But this is one difference from that of in the earlier two tables. And the second difference, which differs from that of the previous two, is we have to use an additional pair of parentheses. Why? Because potentially multiple rings are over there. So rings are separated with each parenthesis. So we need to use an additional pair of parentheses. So for that, let me just here start a parenthesis and here ends that parenthesis, except that everything looks the same as we did for the earlier two. Okay, name, central perk, and the geometry we used. Let's count the pair of geometry we use, like 1 pair, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not that, hard and fast rule that you need to exactly use 5 pairs of coordinate system. You can use, as many as, but at least just try to remember that, use at least some pairs of coordinate which at least makes a polygon. Okay, so let's run the code and let's see what happens. Okay, so our code has successfully been run, query written successfully. We have added central perk, and let's see whether it's truly added or not. Look, there is a big geometry. Why? Because this time we have added like 5 pairs of coordinate to make a single geometry. So that's why the line string, the text value has got a little bit elongated, and the central perk name has been added. So this is how we can add point feature. For point feature, we have added 2 points, Statue of Liberty and World Trade Center. For line feature, we have added another 2 line feature, which are Brooklyn Bridge and Lincoln Tunnel and their associated geometry. You might have the questions that why do we need to add the geometry? The answer is very simple. You can work with this table as long as you are working in pgAdmin and somewhere where geometry or spatial location are not needed. But when you wanna use these values, you wanna use these data to visualize, to create a map, that's where you are bound to create the associated geometry for that point, line, and polygon feature. So that is the answer, and it's very important to remember that without geometry, you cannot add your data or transfer your data from pgAdmin to any source of like GIS-based software, ArcGIS, QGIS, or something else. So that's how we can add geometry column, and we can fill up that geometry column with this geometry value. So in my next video, I will show you how to use this line, polygon, and point feature, and how to how to transfer this line, polygon, and point feature into QGIS and use them to create a good looking map. So I will definitely use the same data I have created today. So the next video is gonna be very fantastic and exciting and a real learning one. So please don't miss that one. And I hope you guys have liked my video. If you have, please do subscribe to my channel. I will come up with another new video. Till then, bye bye. Allah Hafiz.